here at Infosys, a campus of 23,000 software engineers that are delivering services and value-added services to clients all over the world. And 5 years ago, this wasn't here. And this is part of the growth of a huge shift in our economy, shift towards digitalization, disrupting a whole lot of industries. So I think that to be here and to see this and to work in this environment is absolutely the future of management education. But I think more than that, we had an opportunity to go back into the MBA market and to think about what does the MBA and the executive education of the future look like. And it was this fantastic opportunity because the world had shifted a lot from when MBAs were first created. They were essentially for engineers to learn a little bit more about running a business as they progressed through their career in an existing organisation. And they'd lost their focus over the years. So we had a chance to say, what is it that we would, that companies want, that managers want, that is going to position them for the changing, digitally disrupted world. And this program is what we came out of it. Really at the core of it is this experiential component, is that you can learn, the information's not rare now. Information, anyone can get high quality information, anyone can do something with it. But the real rarity is being able to process that information in a valuable and meaningful way and have insight into the future. So that a lot of those skills is about the experience of going to a new place, being challenged with something new, having to take on something that that's not part of your everyday, to develop and those skills that you really need to be able to process information and seize the future through insight. The really interesting thing about being here is that looking from the outside, you think, oh, India's the growth economy of the future. Everyone's worried about the jobs shifting from, the high wage economies to these type of economies. Then you come here and you find out that the hardest thing, like there's a huge challenge of getting enough skilled people. Even in a country of 1.2 billion people, the human capital, skilled human capital to do the work, there's a shortage. There are infrastructure constraints. There are lower wage alternatives that are developing all over the world. And what you realise is that this shift is creating these ongoing dynamics which are extremely complex. When we bring students here, what we really focus on is how do you identify an opportunity and how do you capture that opportunity. And this is a great place to do it because there's opportunity all around, and it's also the market is very, very different from the ones that we expect. So there are 300 million people here at the bottom of the pyramid, and companies are making a success by selling products to them at a fraction of a US cent margin on all those types of things. To think through all of that is quite remarkable and really taxes you and challenges you. I think what we get in the habit of in most of our businesses is that we think we know the customer, we think we understand the market. We don't question the fundamentals about how that's changing, and it's only every now and again that we really think about the dynamic forces changing our industry. Here you can't help but avoid that because the shift's going on all the time, and you're having to throw yourself into this constant understanding. So I think that is actually going to be incredibly valuable for anyone, as to how do you tap into the future? How do you constantly push yourself to think about what are the changes going on? The classic example everyone talks about here is the Nano, where Ratan Tata said we need a car that that people on a moderate income can aspire to, so he fixed the price. And he said it has to be $1,02,000 US, and they reverse engineered everything in the car to fit around the price point to deliver on the specs, which meant fundamental changes in just about everything in the car. So the brake systems and the linings, the sharing functionality that they didn't share before. They've rethought the way that chassis are developed, and all of their partners all the way through had to work around the confines of this is the price, this is the market point, and then to rebuild. And that's such a different way than people have done things anywhere. So it's more from less and less, which is the classic saying around those things. The really interesting thing about that is I've done some work on Bosch, and Bosch make brake lining and automotive engineering products, and they worked with Tata on that process. I was in Stuttgart 6 months ago, and the new brake lining systems and the new automotive engineering systems that they're putting into Mercedes and Porsche are all using the technologies they they developed through the Tata project. So you get this amazing reverse diffusion of the sort of disciplined, frugal type innovation, pushing through a whole lot of innovations that didn't come out. Strangely, that fits with what we know about the history of innovation. You know, often constraints, uncertainty or lack of resources is the thing that really creates the opportunities for those out-of-the-box solutions, or for people to actually rethink the problem. For any company that's not operating in these markets and having to push itself, you know, to really deal with these tough questions, like how do you make profit on a product that sells for 1 rupee? Which is what Unilever has to do here. Yeah. You know, that really taxes you and pushes you, and you have to rethink your whole distribution system and the way that you move your product and package your product. You know, it's a big change, but that sort of pressure, that sort of discipline, and those sort of opportunities are things that are incredibly valuable for organisations if they know how to seize them. Consistently, the one piece of feedback we have about this module, you know, which is about creating opportunities and then seizing those opportunities, is that the one thing that everyone comes away for is this newfound appreciation of the customer and customer insight, which seems so weird. You know, that we're all in the business of serving and delighting our customers, but it's so easy the way that organisations build to get so far away from that customer face. In a changing world that's disrupted, where, you know, things are shifting, that sort of laser focus on the customer and being able to understand and bring them into all the conversations you have about the way that you do business and those type of things, that's going to be such a critical skill. A lot of our organisations are designed to actually make the consumer understanding almost impossible and to put it at a distance from us. So I think you know, really the having to go in and be like an entrepreneur, you know, actually, you know, take a business and try and find a market and all those types of things, it's an incredibly valuable discipline. It certainly changes the way that people think about their organisations. I know from you know, being on this module that people have gone back and completely restructured their internal organisations and reorganised into customer focused teams and really pushed through a lot of the sort of changes in organisational structure that really need to be able to service and deliver client needs and solutions rather than just pushing products to people. So that's the power of experiential learning, is that I could say this to you over and over and over again. I could write in a book, I could give you lots of examples, but until you've actually felt it, until you've actually thought, I don't know what's going on, or the thing that I've got here, the product that I'm trying to push is never going to sell to this person, you know, and you've actually thought, oh, there's a mismatch here and I've got to rethink my whole approach. Until you've had that sort of, you know, that really visceral experience, you're not really going to take it to heart. You know, it's just going to be another one of those management tool techniques that people say. So I think that that's the power of experiential learning, you know, and I think I've seen it make a huge difference. So the examples that I really like the most is the way that mobile has fundamentally shifted a whole lot of elements of Indian society, and the way that they've creatively used that technology to really change a whole lot of economy. So we're in the south, we're in Bangalore, so in the centre in the south, but further south from us is a state called Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and it's, you know, sort of poor part of the country, but there's a lot of long coastline, a lot of fishing. And so the fishermen there, you know, typical developing country fishermen, they've got a boat, but it's in debt. You know, they make their money by going out of the day and then going to the markets, and, you know, their ability to control price is incredibly tough. They're living a subsistence living, so they basically, you know, if they don't catch, they don't get a sale, and they're in serious trouble. And they're about 35,000 of those fishermen in that sort of area. There's a cooperative that organises them, but it's not a great way to earn your living. You know, it's a really tough way to live. So they've actually organised a system there, really simple but incredibly powerful, which is the collective's got spotters at all the markets up and down the coast, and they're entering on their mobile phone, not even using smartphones, just using SMS. They're just SMSing the minute-by-minute price of the major catches of fish, and then that's all being sent to the cooperative, and they're bringing that data together, and they're then pushing out the data to the people in the fishing boats. And they've got a simple 2G handset and an SMS that's just coming through with pretty much with a ticker price of what the price is for this fish species in that market. And on the basis of that, the fishermen can pull in their catch, check the prices, and then make a decision about which one of the markets to go back into. And the markets are basically the same distance apart. But they've got the power of information. And what's happened there is that average price that each of those fishermen are getting has gone up about 25 to 30%. And that's incredible, simple, existing technology, and they're just using the power. Like, these are all the things that we're talking about now: the power of the crowd, multiple sources of information and aggregating them, data analytics. These are all of these things, but just with the use of SMS for people who, on the whole, are not literate. So they can't actually functionally read, but they can remember the abbreviation for this type of fish, and they know what the price is, and all those sort of things. And I think that's a really fantastic example because it uses the network of community. The fact that these people have a shared interest in each other's welfare and they're in a collective, but it also leverages the technology to actually bring some meaning to that. So, and there's examples like that everywhere. Some people struggle with this because they're expecting this channel of received wisdom to come down, to get it shoved down your throat and regurgitate it. That's been the traditional higher education model, which is, but I think that's so broken because that's not knowledge that you can then take and employ. And a lot of people struggle with the fact that actually you are learning, like, you're responsible for your own learning. And we enable it, and we create the environment, and we'll put all these things around it. But basically, you've got to drive the learning of you, and I think a really important thing is the way that you become a teacher for the person next to you. Because I think knowledge used is actually knowledge gained in a lot of those things, and for some people, it's really uncomfortable. That's why we spend a lot of time making sure it's the right type of people. They have to be up for the challenge. They have to be people that are really those sort of things. So, but when you see it, when you see the group actually supporting each other and pushing each other, like, the incremental gains are massive. I think there's like this exponential curve where people go from this level of understanding to having a really expanded level of understanding in a short amount of time. It's great to watch that process. I think everybody involved in the program is incredibly proud of what they've done, and they just, for all of us, it was what we wanted. Like, we knew there was a better way, and we knew that there was that the opportunities are enormous, and just to be able to pull it off is for a lot of people, it's really great.